Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Ed Coughlin, Director of Trader Services at Nasdaq. Ed, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Oh, thanks, Jill. The time does fly.
It certainly does fly. And here we are, September 1st. So my question to you is summer volumes. We knew 2020 and 2021, we saw that resurgence in retail activity. What have you seen as the summer starts to dwindle down?
Well, certainly, summer volumes held up. When I look at probably the average volumes over the summer, we're about 9 billion shares a day. So if you look, and I always wonder now, is this the new normal? Are we still talking pre-COVID, COVID, et cetera? But if you look at pre-COVID, we were at 7 billion shares a day, and we're still maintaining 9 billion. We still expect, coming into the fall, a fairly heavy, fall season, a heavy IPO calendar backlog that's out there. Volume and participation in the market has been great.
So Ed, when we talk about retail participation, who are they and what are they trading?
I think traditionally we all lumped retail into just saying it's retail. And if we look at what's happened, probably over the last year and a half and, with meme stocks and labeling day traders, I look at it as retail. We have a younger generation of retail traders. And then we have an older generation of maybe they weren't called retail traders, but individual investors. And if I look at the profile of both, there's probably never been a better time for both sets, of types of individuals to trade. There's 8,000 corporate securities out there. There's 2,600, ETFs. You can tailor investment strategies and target specific outcomes that you'd like, whether that outcome be, higher on the risk spectrum or lower on the risk spectrum. I think the newer generation of investors, which really excites me, they are out there and they see the markets as a way to build wealth, and then you got your older generation of investors that see, the markets as a way not only to build wealth, but to hold on and maintain wealth. And, whether you are, high risk, low risk, I think it's fabulous that we have a generation of investors that come into the market. Not long ago, there was talk of individual investors never owning individual stocks. And we've had these younger group of investors that have really kind of lit a fire, under, looking at and evaluating and gaining exposure, to individual items. There's certainly going to be, a learning curve for some of the younger generation, as they get involved in the markets, as well as the older generation as to, this wide array of choices that they have. The ETF market is, I think, gained $600 billion in AUM year to date, exceeding all of last year. I mean, there's $7 trillion invested in ETFs, and those attract not only the younger investors, but also the older investors. So when I look at the overall, market going forward, I think we're in a great place, having, this, unique set of younger generations coming into the market and older generations, being in the market. It's really exciting, as we look forward.
Yeah, Ed, and I would agree with you. Even from a fundamental perspective, the younger generation brings a different set of values to investing as well. So I think they just look at stocks and vote with their money, not only with their consumer choices, but where they're actually allocating their investments. So it really is interesting to see how fundamentally this could change the market as we know it as well. And to wrap up here, tell us about the extended trading close.
So what we're doing, and Nasdaq's always looking to innovate. And we see the close as a really big event, for Nasdaq. It's the most, widely activity, or I should say the most activity in trading takes place, as we all know, in the last 30 minutes, then 15, 5, and then when you approach the close. What we're targeting is that the close will happen as it does every day. The price discovery process, we think, is, the robust and best process for an automated close that's out there in the world today. But between 4 and 4:05, we're going to continue to allow folks to trade at the closing price. So I like to think of it as the hard work's been done. We've discovered the closing price for security, and we're going to allow matching to continue to occur at that closing price between 4 and 4:05. For those investors that may have missed out on participating in the close, subsequently saw the closing price as an attractive, entry or exit point, it allows investors another option to be able to opportunistically, trade at that price. When I talk to folks about it, it's another tool in the toolkit for traders or investors, and gives them another option, albeit all voluntary, meaning, there is no mandatory participation, in this event. But we like to, keep innovating, and we think this is, a space that's right for us to continue to offer help to traders that sit out there.
All right, Ed, we appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Nice to see you, Jill.